Hi, just wanted to record a quick video to show how to start with Firebase Genkit. So the fastest way to start with Firebase Genkit is to use the Genkit CLI. So to install the Firebase Genkit CLI, you just run this command. This will install Genkit CLI globally, or you can install it just into this project. And if you just install it just into this project, you'll have to call the CLI using npx. But I already have it installed, and I'm going to go ahead and run Genkit init. It's going to ask us which runtime we want to use. We're just going to say that we want to use Node.js, and I'm going to use Google AI as our model provider. And the CLI is just going to go ahead and install all the necessary npm packages, and it's asking us whether we want a sample. We're just going to say yes for now. So, and let's take a quick look. So basically just created this package.json with and installed all these dependencies and created a couple of scripts to make it easier for us. But that's pretty much it. So, and TypeScript and there's a tsconfig that it created that is compatible with, works well with Genkit. So that's pretty much it. So you could just easily do this by hand, but to avoid doing it by hand, CLI is just a little faster. And it created a sample here for us, which we're just going to go ahead and ignore for now. I'm going to go ahead and just copy paste a different sample. And just to quickly go over what's going on in the sample, we're configuring Genkit, we're passing in the Google AI plugin, and that's really all you need to get to configure Genkit. And here we just going to make a generate call to Gemini 1.5 Flash. It is coming from the Google AI plugin, and since we installed the plugin, this model is available for us to use. And here we're constructing a prompt from this little, makeshift template. And it's going to suggest an item for this for the menu of this themed restaurant, and we're taking this theme as an command line argument. And that's it. We're just going to print out the menu to the command line. And to run this, we're just going to, we can use TSX because this is TypeScript. TSX source index.ts, let's say banana. This is going to go ahead and run this. And here we see, this is the menu. There's a banana blossom. So yeah, it's definitely a banana themed menu. Yeah, this is just kind of simple start. But let's take this a step further. So here, imagine we want to build an Express server. So it's not just like the command line app. We actually want a server that serves things. So here I copy paste this from Express documentation, and now if I run this, it will bring up an Express server running on port 3000, and if I make a curl call to this, it just says hello world. So here we have an Express server, and I'm gonna add the same menu logic to the to our Express app here. I'm gonna just replace this hello world with our previous code for generating the menu. So we're just going to add all the necessary imports. We're going to turn this into an async callback. We import Gemini 1.5 Flash. We're going to go ahead and change this to response send. We're just going to send it back. And instead of taking this from the command line argument, we're just going to take a query parameter. So a query, and we're going to query parameter subject or something, or we can do maybe theme. Right? So this is going to be, and that's it. So let's restart our Express server here. Again, it's running, and we're going to make a curl call here, and we need a query parameter, and query parameter theme, and let's say banana again. I have no imagination, and it for some reason model not found. Yeah, because we forgot to add configure Genkit. the only thing missing, so let's make sure that it's imported and start this again and try a curl call. And okay, let's see, there's plenty of bananas, so this is working. But like, this is great, but, maybe one step further, like say we want to, debug this in some way. So this is just kind of a plain Node app. What we can do is we can just run the same thing using Genkit start command. So Genkit start will just take this app, the same way that we've been running it before, but like it's gonna run it in dev mode, in Genkit dev mode. And let's see, so it's gonna go run it, and they're gonna see here we have our example app running on port 3000, and we can just continue making curl requests. So it's still working, but here we see that there's it says tool UI available here on port 4000. We're gonna go ahead and open it in a simple browser, and this is our Genkit dev UI. And here we have access to all these models, and we can say hi, and so we can interact with models. But one thing, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna enable tracing and metrics, and the moment I save this, we see that it actually automatically restarts the app. So one added benefit of using Genkit start, it automatically watches your code and restarts it in the background. So, and from here, again, so if we're going to go ahead and maybe, do like a papaya call, so it worked. And if we go to the inspect tab, we see, there's a suggest an item for the menu of a papaya themed restaurant. So we have sort of a tracing working, and from here we can actually jump to the model, and it transfers the prompt from the trace to the model, and we can maybe tweak it if we do want to do some prompt engineering. But this is great. We get tracing, and we have access to models, but we still have to, if we want to try things out, we have to go do the curl command, which is fine, but we can do better. Well, one way to improve this is to use flows. So as a next step, we can move our Gen AI logic into a flow that will have some added benefits of better observability. It provides streaming and some other things. So let's just quickly write a flow for this. So it's going to be called menu. We're going to have input schema, and it's going to be we're using Zod for schemas, and it's just going to take a string, and output schema. It's also going to be outputting a string, just a simple example. And then it takes in a async function as the callback. It's going to be our theme. And we're just going to go ahead and copy this. Move our model logic. We're going to pass in our theme here, and we're going to return response.text from our flow. So here our flow compiles, but here in our express handler, we're just gonna run our flow. So we're just gonna import our flow. It takes a menu, and it takes the we're gonna pass in the query theme as string to our flow, and here we just need to await on it. Okay, so here, we moved our logic into a flow, and let's just make sure that it still works. We restarted and make a call, and it works. There's the papaya paradise connection. So it's passing in the query parameters, but all of our logic is now in a flow. What are the benefits of doing things in a flow here? So if we go to our dev UI, we see that the flow now shows up in here, and flows have first-class support here in the dev UI. You can see that it understands the schema, that it takes in a string, and here we can say, Apple, and we can generate the menu for an apple, and we can also just go ahead and enable streaming. So we can take our streaming callback and pass it to the generate call. So this restarted, and we can try this in streaming mode now. And you see that it's streaming, these text chunks. So now, like if we wanted to build our UI and progressively render the incoming LLM response chunks, we can do that with flows. So, but another added benefit is if we go to our inspect tab in our traces, we see now that we're running our flow. And all of the logic is now encapsulated inside the flow. And if you're doing something more complicated, like in this example, we're just calling an LLM. But if you're doing maybe calling retrievers, you're building some RAG use case. There's retrievers, maybe multiple LLM calls. They will all be grouped here instead of individually showing up in here. So this is kind of why you would want to use flows. But again, you don't really have to. Yep, but I can show you one other trick to save you kind of writing all this Express code by hand. So we can replace all of this manual Express code by start flow server, which will it's a little helper that comes with Genkit flows framework, and we can say start flow server for this for these flows, and it's going to run on a different port, which we can actually go ahead and override if we want. We can say so it runs on port 3000. So here it's running on port 3000, and it exposes our menu at /menu, and we can make a request here to localhost 3000/menu, and we're going to pass in the data and the content type application JSON, and we get the same response but now we're just serving these flows through the built-in server. So it's pretty easy to get started with Genkit, and Genkit is pretty flexible, so you can just use it however you want it, as a simple CLI in an existing Express server app, or you can, if you're starting from scratch, you can take advantage of all different shortcuts that Genkit provides to make it easy for you to get started. That's it.